Hello, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X.
And this,
You already know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our Facebook page, go ahead and hit that like button. And as well, if you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And as well, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified for shows like this one in the future.
ding.
As well, check us out on Twitter at X Talking Ish. I'm also going ahead and retweet it on my personal page right now so people can check us out on Periscope. All right, let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of things. Unfortunately, we are a little late today just due to family commitments that we got to take care of first, but we are here to preview week one of the NFL slate. Of course, we'll talk about the games, the point spread, and of course, my sorry prize picks ticket for today to hopefully win
Yeah,
myself
yesterday
a
didn't go too
winning
well either,
ticket.
huh?
Um, let's just say I'm contemplating on killing myself. No, I'm just kidding. No, on a serious note, I don't want to get flagged for this video. No, on a serious note, I had me a four-player parlay yesterday for college ball. Um, I
Hmm.
had them all. I had them all until apparently Lincoln Riley wanted to pull Caleb Williams and not allow me to get the extra 300
You should have saw that coming, though.
yards.
You should have saw that coming.
I mean, not really. Again, you would assume it would have been a little competitive to hopefully have Caleb Williams play into the second half, but yes, not. So, with that being said, I am a loser of that parlay, but it's a new day, it's a new parlay, and we're going to parlay and ball, as they say in H Town, and we're going to figure out how to make a couple extra dollars today. And we'll go ahead and start off right here with the hometown team in Houston taking a trip to Baltimore as the Texans play the Baltimore Ravens, who the Ravens are a 9.5 point favorite at home. We're just going to go ahead and show you our picks because there's no surprise who we're picking today, but we'll talk a little bit about the ins and out of this game. Ish, I'll start off with you, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot of intrigue going into this game for a number of reasons. It's a new era here in Houston. Some would say you got D'Amico Ryan's his first ever game as the head coach coming back to Houston. You got C.J. Stroud making his first start in his NFL career. You got Lamar coming back after second half of the season last year that many people were questioning things about Lamar, and then we had the offseason. People questioning whether or not he would be in Baltimore. He returns, and hey, he got some new weapons. They bring OBJ to him. They got Zay Flowers, who they drafted. So there's a lot of things in this game that's going to be interesting. I think it's one of those which is a theme for me of today. It's a new era. It's a new era. And how do you start your new era? I think that's the thing we're going to see from a lot of these teams today. And unfortunately for Houston, I just don't think that it's going to start off on the right foot. I think that Baltimore is going to win this game. I think they've always struggled when it comes to running quarterbacks. They've always struggled when it comes to stopping tight ends. And I think they're going to get a lot of that today. I think that Lamar's going to run on them. I think that they are going to struggle scoring points because I just didn't see enough from C.J. Stroud in the preseason to make me excited. And I'm really looking to see what do they show as far as what I think this team will be like moving into the rest of the season.
I love everything that you had to say, especially about the new era for a lot of teams, right? I think on Thursday we saw it with the Detroit Lions, and I'm definitely not rubbing it in at all. I'm just saying that week one brings a lot of excitement for new teams to try to showcase that, hey, maybe this is our year to arrive and show that, hey, this is a new era. And you spoke about the Texans for them being a new era. This is also a new kind of era for the Ravens as well too,
Mm-hmm,
with the
mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson era with a new offensive coordinator and trying to get the most out of this offensive group. Um, Greg asked, and I love this question that he asked on YouTube. He says, "You think this game is going to be close?" If I'm a person that's taking the points, I think I would take the points on this game because I don't think the Texans are as bad as not just Vegas thinks, but what people think. Again, for whatever reason, I'm looking all around the landscape of sports, and when I see people talk about sports, a lot of people are still associating brand with how good or bad a team is for that year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about college ball, pro ball, even high school ball. You can't look at a team and just say, "Oh, well, the Katy Tigers have been dominant for the last 20 years, so they're just going to be dominant again this year." Oh, well, Alabama, they've been great for the last 20 years. They're going to be great this weekend as well too. Or hey, the Baltimore Ravens, they've been consistent the last 20 years. They're going to be continue to be consistent. It takes 1 year, right? We've seen it time and time in the NFL with, of course, the Los Angeles Rams. They've had their 1 year spurts. We've seen it with the Cincinnati Bengals. Seen it even with the Philadelphia Eagles. Some people might say it's a 1 year thing, but it goes to show you that if you could put the right pieces together, you can have a magical year. With that being said, like I said with the Texans last year, they were in a lot of competitive games and they took a lot of good teams to the brink until, let's just be real, until the management group said, "Hey, we need y'all to go ahead and let this game go so we can get a better draft pick." I
They
don't think
didn't
the
do that.
Texans
Of
win this
course not.
game. Of course not. Of course not. I don't think the Texans win this game, but I think that they will show everybody that this is not the same old Texans team. And I think I think this will be a 3 point game. I don't think this is going to be I don't think the Ravens go in
Mm.
there and
So
just
they
manhandle
cover.
the Texans. I don't like when it comes to the Ravens. Besides their offense, which is of course a lot more improved, when I look at that defense, like that defense doesn't scare me. It's not a Baltimore 2000
Average. I think they're
Baltimore
just an
type.
average one.
It's not a
Yeah.
scary defense to me. So I'm looking at this young Texas team as a team that has nothing to lose. Go out there and go play freely, enjoy
Hmm.
yourself, and enjoy week one. And I think, and I'll talk about it a little bit later on my draft picks. I'm sorry, my prize picks that I have for a little bit later. I think a guy like a Tank Dell might have a coming out party today.
Okay. One thing I did want to piggyback on that you brought up about them, keeping it close, showing that it's a new era. One thing we always, I think, complimented San Francisco about while D'Amico Ryans was there and for the last couple of years is even when they lost games, you could see that it was a team that was prepared and ready to go. And
Oh
if
yeah,
things worked out for them, if they had certain players that were injured back, if they had, a couple of breaks here and there, they were a team that was very much right there at competing, right? Or they were a team that you knew, like, hey, this is not a team that you should fool around with, right? And I think for me, that's what I'm looking for from Houston this year. I'm not necessarily looking for Houston to go out win the AFC South. I think that's a little unrealistic for anybody to have that expectation of them. But I do expect to see just that preparation, that fight, that will, that hunger to show like, hey, this is a new era, and we're building something here that next year, the year after, we're not a team to play with. And I think that's what I'm looking for. And like you said, this is a perfect chance to start your new era off on the right foot and show people that, make that statement so that people know, like, okay, D'Amico Ryan actually might be building something down there.
that's all. That's all. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Spend a lot of time on that topic. Let's go ahead and move on to the Bengals Browns. What a way to open up week one with a division rival. There's a little chirping going on in the off season with
Mm.
Jamar Chase talking about the Browns, and then of course Miles Garrett came back and said a little some. Again, it's a division rivalry game. I expect this type of talk, but um, the Browns actually have the Bengals number. In the last 10 matchups, the Browns are actually have been able to win the 8 out of those 10 matchups. So it's not like the Browns are, of course, as Jamar Chase say, are the Browns. I mean, they might be the Browns against other teams, but against the Bengals, they playing more like the Chiefs against y'all. So with that being said, I'll go first. I actually do have the Browns winning this game, mainly be due to, of course, their running game, and kind of piggybacking off of what we talked about the last topic. Again, this a new era of the Browns. I'm not saying they're going to win Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're going to FC Championship that game at all. But I think this is the time for Deshaun Watson to be what Deshaun Watson was. This is the reason why Cleveland gave him all this money. Last year was just It was just a warm up year for him to get his body just acclimated back to being an NFL quarterback once again. This year, I expect him to get back to minimum 3,800 yards of passing and allowing that running game to work in his favor, to utilize the play action game, and for that defense to step up to where it should be. And maybe we can have the Browns competing for the division title again, maybe, but it's a long season. Right now, I think because of the Browns being at home, that's why I take Cleveland. Also, let's watch out and see how Joe Burrow plays after coming back from that calf injury. Ish.
Oh no, most definitely. Like you said, when Cleveland beats a team in the North, most of the time it's the Browns. I mean, it's the Bengals. It's the Bengals. Let's just be honest about it. And with them being at home today, I almost picked them. I did feel like, this is their opportunity. Like you said, new era. Let's start it off the right way. Deshaun Watson, what better way to make a statement that, you're back and you never left? Like you're not some slouch. I think people have kind of been overlooking the Browns because they don't consider Deshaun Watson to be the same guy he was down in Houston. And I think last year you got to kind of take that with a grain of salt because remember, he had missed so much time that coming back,
It's gonna take a while.
it's going to take a little bit of time. He had a full off season this off season, so I expect him to be closer to what he was in Houston. I don't know if he's going to be exactly that because it's a totally different system, right? Like he's going to be asked to work within the system and not necessarily be the do it all person that he had to be in Houston. So it's going to be interesting to see how they work with that and how he handles that. But I don't know, man. I just think that for Cincinnati, this whole matchup here, and I guess also for Cleveland, is personal, baby. It's personal. And I think Cincinnati, they want to stake their claim on the North. They want to show that they are the power in the North now, that winning the AFC North goes through them, and that they are a real contender. And I think they saw what happened to Kansas City on Thursday, and they don't want that to be them. They don't want to have to start the season with people talking about like, oh, well, Cincinnati, we don't know. This might be the year the Ravens come back, all the Browns. Like, I don't think they want that. I think they want to make a statement, especially against their arch rival in Cleveland. So I think that Cincinnati finds a way to pull it out. It'll be close though.
Fresh Runner says I expect a full bounce back from DW4. I do too, man. And like I said, if it ain't now,
He's
then
got the weapons.
when? Yeah, you got
Weapons he
to.
did
Yep.
not have in Houston. He's got them this time.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Buccaneers and Vikings. Not as sexy as a matchup because of Mr. Thomas Brady is not in the lineup.
It wasn't even when he was there.
I mean,
Nope. Nobody was checking for them. Nobody wanted to watch them even when Tom Brady was there. And now more so than ever, nobody wants to watch them.
Ish isn't wrong, and with that being said, that's the reason why both of us are picking the Vikings. Even without Mr. Dalvin Cook playing for the Vikings should have enough. Again, being at home, you are a team in the NFC that we look at as a minimum top 5 team, maybe even top 4 or 3, depending on where you slot them in. This is a game you're supposed to win. This is one of those games where it's a layup. I mean, it's no reason why you shouldn't win this game. I think even though they are only a 4.5 point favorite, they should probably be a 6.5 point favorite. Like this is a game where if you don't win by a minimum of a touchdown, Vikings, I'm gonna have to look at y'all a little crazy. Um, and that's pretty much it for me on that one. Like I don't have too much to say. Fresh one that says I got the Bucks by -24, as in losing by
I don't know if they're
24.
gonna lose by
I
24.
don't think
It's
so
the
either.
NFL.
It's NFL, exactly. No, let's not be disrespectful. This ain't
It's
college
the
ball.
NFL, so I don't think they lose by 24. But yeah, I don't see them making it very competitive. I think it'll be a slow start maybe for Minnesota, but I see them at least winning by 10.
We might have to bring out the Todd Bowles tracker and figure out when it
When
might
he's
be
gone, yeah,
time
that
for him
seat's
to
gonna be
leave.
blazing.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, the way that quarterback carousel is going to go, starting off obviously, Baker Mayfield is the starting quarterback at the moment. Backup quarterback's Kyle Trash. Um, how long until Baker is pulled from that starting position? Ish, just throw it out there for us.
Nah, you know what? I give him till after the bye.
I
I,
give
I
him.
forget what their bye is, but I think after the bye.
I give him week 7. I wasn't gonna say week 9, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go week 7.
Mm.
Fresh Runner says the heater meter starts today. I love it. I definitely love it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Tennessee Titans versus the New Orleans Saints. This was a game that my wife and I was actually supposed to be at today, but we have some sickly little babies, and we
Mm.
have to take care of the babies. And it is what it is. We will find a way to rekindle that game one of these days. Hopefully, moving forward. Hopefully, New Orleans can make a trip to Nashville and we'll visit that game. So, with that being said, Ish, I'll let you start off first with your pick.
Yeah, new era. Derek Carr starting off with New Orleans. I know that they don't got their star running back, but I still think that they've got all the pieces that they need to start off this era right with Derek Carr. And I think they'll win this game. I think there's a lot to still figure out in Tennessee. Not that I'm sleeping on Tennessee because Tennessee still have the king in that backfield, and as long as they have the king in the backfield, I think that they're in every single game. Um, Going forward, but I just don't know that there's belief in Ryan Tannehill. I think there's just so many questions with Tennessee, and it's the beginning of the season. I think that anything can happen at the beginning of the season, which is why I have some of these picks that I have today because I think like you just don't know until they start playing, right? There's so many things that could happen. So because Tennessee has more questions, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to New Orleans, but I by no means am actually like 100% confident in this pick.
Well, it's funny you say that because you're saying that Tennessee has more questions. Like they got the new quarterback on their team, or they don't have their starting running back playing, or they don't I'm sorry, are they are introducing a wide receiver that hasn't played for them the last 2 years due to their his ankle injury and things of that nature. I'll be honest with you. Yes, this is a homer pick. I'm not even going to front with anybody. I'll be the first one to say yes. I am picking the Titans because I am a Titans fan.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
if you do look at the makeup of this team, this Tennessee Titans team is a perfect team to come into New Orleans to quote unquote crash the party. For anybody that's New Orleans that of course love to do a little Mardi Gras out in that area. But main reason why I'm picking the Tennessee Titans as well is because we already know going to games, if you're playing against Tennessee Titans, most teams are going to say, "Hey, we need to stack the box. We need to go ahead and load up in the box and stop Derrick Henry." That's perfectly fine. You want to put 8 in the box, hell, if you want to put 9 in the box, that's perfectly fine. DeAndre Hopkins, again, new era, right? Playing on a new team. Still don't know if he could be as productive as he was in the last couple of years. So there's little question marks on that. Most likely, what they're going to do on the defense side of the ball is to make sure that DeAndre Hopkins don't take over the game, which is understandable because he's a guy that can do that. So what does that mean? That means a guy like Traylon Burks needs to show up. This is I'm not saying that he's going to be the best receiver in the NFL, but this
He
is
needs
his
to be a
time.
two. He
This
needs
is
to be
his
a clear
time to
two.
become a
Yeah.
two. And
Hmm.
if he is not that, then we're gonna have to start looking at him a little crazy because that is the reason why we brought him in here for first place. Not to be number one, not in the hell, no, not to be wide receiver one, but to be wide receiver two and be able to then take the pressure off of Hopkins, take the
Hmm.
pressure off of Tannehill, and be
Hmm.
able to not have single coverage on the outside, and also maybe on the even on the inside they put Burks whenever they do put Burks on the inside. With
Hmm.
that being said, I think Tennessee comes in there and spoils the party for the Saints. I do think though the New Orleans Saints will have a better overall season than the Tennessee Titans will, and they will go to the NFC Championship game. So no, I'm not hating on the New Orleans Saints. I just think Week 1, like Ish said, there's a lot of uncertainty around the league that you just really don't know. This is going to be one of the random weird games. I look at it kind of like last year when the New York Giants came into Nashville and beat the Tennessee Titans, and I was kind of confused on how in the hell that happened. But we saw that the Giants overall was a better team. They went ahead and became a better team. They won a playoff game as well. I just think this is probably one of those gotcha games for the Saints. They'll look back and say, "How in the hell we probably lost that game? Probably shouldn't have." And pretty much go from there. And also, when the Titans win, I'll probably have to invade to your house because I'm pretty sure my wife is going to want to kick my ass. So, with that being said, Ish, do you have an extra bed for me over there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can come over and
All right, no problem. Just making sure I have somewhere to lay my head because I'm pretty sure I'll have to sleep with one eye open. But my wife is going to hit me upside the head with a pan. All right, let's go ahead and move on to another divisional matchup in the NFC South. The Panthers take on the Falcons. I just think I'm at a point is we just need to this whole season. I'm sorry, this whole episode today is called just new era, a new era because again another game where you obviously have the number one overall pick, new era
Mm-hmm.
in Carolina. You also have another first round pick. First time a running back has been picked in the first round in a very, very, very long time. Bijan Robinson making his appearance, going from running back number 3 to running back 1. Like we really thought he was going to be a third string running back for that team. But anyways, that's another story for another day. Tigers are a 3.5 point favorite at home. Ish, take this away, please.
Yeah, the Falcons, like you said, at home, they do have a, I guess, more experienced signal caller in 1 year with Desmond Ritter at the helm. I just think that Atlanta has a little bit more put together of a team than Carolina at this point. I think my biggest concern with Carolina is that offensive line and whether or not they're going to be able to keep Bryce Young upright. That is my biggest concern for them all season. I think that they'll figure it out and they'll have games where they will play well and they'll be able to win. But I just don't see it, especially on the road, your first game, a divisional opponent. I think there's just so much in this that it's just not going to be a situation where Carolina is able to pull out the win. I mean, they may be able to keep it close. They may be able to, lead for a little bit, but I think eventually Atlanta's just going to find it. They're going to have too much, and they're going to be able to pull this one out.
No, I definitely agree. Now, what I will say though is I think this is one of them games where we might need to keep a little eye out on because I think the Panthers defense is a lot better than people are
Oh,
looking
for
at it.
sure.
And
Yeah.
again, goes back to what I said when it comes to brand association. Because of what happened last year with the Panthers kind of like gutting their team in the middle of the season and pretty much just starting over and getting Bryce Young this year or the past off season. Um, I think the defense is actually again it's a very underrated part of this team if they can control the game from the line of scrimmage on, I think this game is going to be a lot closer than people expect. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Panthers can pull out a win that they're not supposed to. Um, and I do like Bryce Young. I like his composure. I was watching QB1 with him and Anthony Richardson on there. I just like how he has been mentality wise since he was a high school senior at Mater Dei High School. And um, with that being said, I really want to pick the Panthers now that I'm trying to talk myself into it, but I'm gonna hold on to this Falcons pick. But this is that's I think that's one of them games where it's not a sexy matchup, but I think we can look at that matchup and say, that was interesting how that played out. Think that's what's going to happen there. All right, move on to an AFC South divisional matchup. The Jacksonville Jaguars head into Indy and take on, of course, like I said, another new era of the Colts. New quarterback, same concerns. So not really too much for the Colts, just same script, different year. But this time, hopefully, they're expecting him to be their franchise quarterback for maybe like 2 years, maybe hopefully. Um, I did, and I'll go first on this one. I did pick the Jags to win this game, and they should. Besides being a 4.5 point favorite, just overall, these are just are a better team. But I did see Anthony Richardson walk into the locker room just a couple minutes ago before we got on the air, and the suit that he was wearing makes me want to change this pick because I know for sure he about to ball out today. The boy looking fly. He in that, LeBron, of course, wanted to make it famous, that stupid ass short suit shit.
Hey, I like that.
I
I like
hate it.
that
I
color.
hate it, but I
I
like
like
I
that.
like the way it looked. And of course, no homo on Anthony Richardson. The boy looking good. Okay, looking suave. He looking ready to play ball today. Will that translate on the field? I don't know. But as Dion say all the time, you look good, you play good, you get paid good. So with that being said, this might be the game. Might be on upset alert. Colts might Anthony Richardson might surprise some folks. I know everybody praying on my boy Anthony Richardson's downfall, but again, it's week one. We're expecting folks to have these breakout type of games. It could be Anthony Richardson. Ish.
Yeah, I mean, he is the X factor, right? This team will go as far as he takes them because without JT in the backfield, definitely you're looking at him as the catalyst for that offense. He's going to be the one that makes the offense go. And, how far can they go? I don't know. They are probably one of the biggest, like, what ifs, who knows teams this year in the NFL because you just don't know what kind of performance you're going to get from him, and you got to think if he's able to come out and have an electric year, have a top rookie quarterback type of year, this is a team that they're not necessarily a bad team. I mean, they picked high last year, but when you think about it, just the year before they had Philip Rivers, and you were thinking like, okay, they're going to go to the playoffs and compete in the playoffs.
I
The year
wasn't.
before that, they had oh no, they had Matt Ryan the year
Matt
before, and then
Ryan, Philip Rivers,
Philip Rivers
Jacoby
before
Brissett,
that, Jacoby Brissett before that. So like they've been bringing in
decent quarterback. It wasn't like they were
decent
trash.
veteran quarterbacks to compete to be in the playoffs. So they're not horrible, right? So if he's able to perform, they're going to be good. I just think Jacksonville, for once, has everything put together. They have everything put together. Not necessarily that they're an elite team, but for once, it's not a bunch of questions on the team like who's going to be here? Who's the guy here? How are they going to score points? Where are the weapons? Like they got it all. For once in their history, they have got it all. Not once in their history.
Not
They
one.
have Mark
They've
Brunell.
had it from time to
Yeah,
time,
they
but
had some
yeah,
from time
yeah.
to time. But I think this is another one of those years for a long time now coming where they've put it all together. And now you're thinking, you got to win the AFC South.
Oh yeah.
They've got to do it. This is their year. To me, they got to go win the AFC South. So if you're going to win the AFC South, you start by going on the road and beating Indy in Indy. So that I have to pick them here because I do think this is their year to go out and win the AFC South.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'll just piggyback quickly and move on to the next topic. Expectations are high this year for the Jags, and I know this is awkward to even say that about the Jacksonville Jaguars, but no, like it said, I mean, you're expected to win the division. You're expected to win at least maybe a playoff game. People are picking Trevor Lawrence to win the MVP this year. People are riding high on the Jacksonville Jaguar team, but kind of low key in the cut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really again, it's on Jacksonville for y'all to show us. It's not for us to have to pay attention to y'all. It's y'all to make us pay attention. So we'll see very soon. Kickoff starts in about another hour and 15 minutes or whatnot. So we'll see very soon on what type of Jaguars team we will be getting for this upcoming season. All right. 49ers versus Steelers. This is one of those West Coast going to the East Coast matchups. We have and also an East Coast going to the West Coast matchup. We'll talk about shortly. Um, One thing we know about the 49ers is that for whatever reason, they like to start off a little slow. But they do pick it up. They pick up steam at the right time, and they are able to, of course, get the wheels rolling on the train and make a great playoff run. Um, but for right now, and I'll do my pick first. Ish. Um, I was talking with Adrian yesterday about his Steelers and how I view his Steelers and whatnot, and I think for whatever reason, I don't know why people are sleeping on the Steelers. Again, this is even when the Steelers are having a down year or a bad year, they're still over 500, right? So when I see a franchise like the Steelers able to still play well, even when they're not playing well, you see the improvements that they are able to get out of these young guys. We saw it in training camp. We saw it with Pickett. We saw it with George Pickens as well. The defense is getting better. You have three tier levels when it comes to defense side of the ball. I feel like they have leaders on all of those tiers. The real concern really would be just the offensive line and how they're going to play and how they're going to hold up. I think Kenny Pickett is answering some of these questions about how he's going to perform as a quarterback and also can he take that next step. I'm not a guy that is going to take too much in from the preseason play and translate it over to the regular season. That's not me, but I will say I do like the command that Kenny Pickett has over the offense comparison to what he was a year ago. I think that helps the coaching staff of the Steelers to allow themselves to have more confidence in Kenny, and I think, and I did pick the Steelers to win the division, the AFC North. I don't think the Steelers are coming in last. Like a lot of people are expecting them to. I think the Steelers win the division by sneaking up on everybody, and also just by the nutritional part. I think a lot of the players will stay healthier throughout the season in comparison to other teams in the AFC North. And I think it starts now with the against the 49ers. Granted, the Niners are going to be there at the end of the season. Like I'm not writing them off, but I think the Steelers are going to have a good season. Fresh one that says two gloves. Kenny gonna ball this year. Ish, what you got for me?
No, 100%. I think the Steelers are a team to be on the watch for because I do think that they are a strong team. They're a good team. They're a well coached team. They're a disciplined team. And all that makes up for a team that normally makes the playoffs. So you got to watch out for them. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have a better year this year. I think that they're going to work it to George Pickens a little more this year. They're going to draw up some plays for him to take advantage of his athletic ability. I think that offensive line looks a lot better than they did a year ago. And the defense has always been a defense that, while not always ranked elite, they are always a good defense, right? And they always find a way. San Francisco, I think they have a lot of questions. Just with all the drama that took place with the Trey Lance situation. They just got Nick Bosa re-signed. I mean, there's a lot going on in San Francisco. Like you said, they normally start slow, and they are coming from the West Coast over to the East Coast. Those games normally are a little bit more of a slog just because of that time change. I do think that San Francisco could find a way to win this game in Pittsburgh, but I think that it is sort of a new era in Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett like officially being that guy, and them just kind of starting. I think it's a lot of young, fresh faces, and it's a continuation of what they've been working towards. So I have Pittsburgh.
Again, it's a new era for everyone. And let's go ahead and move
Yeah.
to a new era of bad. Yeah, bad for the Arizona Cardinals. There's not really too much to talk about with this game, for being honest with you, Ish. I will say this for the Commanders, this is a gimme. This is a gimme. If you're not able to win this game, I don't know what your season is going to be, because the Cardinals are pretty much just letting everybody know that we're tanking. And if you, all pun intended, if you can't command your troops to run over this weak ass tank of a job that the Cardinals are doing, then I don't know. It's too much to say. Let me get back to this comment section that Fresh wanted brought up, because I wanted to actually bring up something like this as well too. He asked Nick Bosa over under 10.5 sacks. At the moment, for me, I'll go under, only because and Bosa's probably going to need at least a couple of weeks to get back right. Knowing him, he'll still get at least a sack over these next couple of weeks. With it being 17 games, I mean, can he average at least a sack a game? Yeah, most likely. You know what? I'm talking myself into. Yeah, it's over. 10.5. Yeah, it's over. It's over. I'll leave it at that. Ish.
Yeah, I think under for now. I think that we'll have to wait and see on that. There are a lot of
I'll
things.
take the over. I'm not even gonna flirt with that. I'm sorry, because technically he has, and I don't know if Fracture knows this. When I was reading the stat earlier, he has the best sack rate at the moment, to where he's almost getting a sack per game, but I think like 0.97 sacks per game in his NFL career.
Yeah,
So if that is the case, like I said, he's
I'm
probably
still taking
guaranteed
the
at
under.
least one sack.
I'm taking the under.
I got you. I got you. I ain't mad at it. And the reason why I brought up this over under is because I wanted to go back to the Colts matchup with Anthony Richardson. He's over under at the moment. Prize Picks with 11.5 interceptions. I know, of course, Peyton Manning jokes about having his interception um, record broken, but that is for a seasonal stat ish. And also, Fracture One that's tuning in, is Anthony Richardson going over or under 11.5 picks for the season?
I think under. I don't
Okay.
think he throws 11 and a half. I don't think he throws. I don't think he throws 12 picks. I just. I don't know. I think maybe they'll have to do something. If he's throwing 10 picks, right? If he throws 10 picks, I think that they got to reevaluate their offensive philosophy.
But also, all picks aren't the same. You know
All,
that.
yeah, all picks
All
aren't
picks
the
aren't
same.
the same. So
I agree.
sometimes out of those 10, it could be 4 or 5 that off the fingertips, or Just
I
something silly.
agree. I just don't see the way their offense is set up. They are a run kind of smash mouth offense. I just don't know if I think that he should be doing that.
I'm
I
saying.
just don't. I don't see it. I don't see it unless he really just airing it out and throwing some jump balls out there, some 50-50s.
I got you. We'll figure it out very shortly. First one that says Commanders are beginning their march for third place today. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Raiders and Broncos. Back in the day, it was a sexy matchup between these two. This generation, not so much. Of course, like I said, another new era of under the Sean Payton helm now in Denver. Um, Ish, this is either going to work. I mean, like peanut butter and jelly, or this is going to be like peanut butter and pickle juice. I don't see no middle. I'm very serious about this Bronco. I don't know how this is going to work out with Sean Payton and Russ. Maybe this is what Russell Wilson needs, that little fire back in his ass to get him back to what he was, or he's going to do more of the same we saw last year. We might see him sitting in a press box somewhere at the U.S. Open next year with Sierra because he won't be playing football anymore. I mean, that's what could happen with Russell Wilson because I there's still, of course, question marks and concerns from Seattle players when he played in Seattle about how good you really are. Maybe you were as good as you are because you had this great defense and you had this elite running game to allow you to come in and just give the ball to the playmakers and make you look better than what you are. Now just due to you being a little bit later in your career, can you even pull this Broncos team to be a success? Ish.
No, I think this Broncos team is a good team. They've got a lot of good makeup. They've got a strong defensive front and a strong defensive side of the ball, which always makes for a good competitive team. And I think offensively, a lot of what you saw last year, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and put it on Nathaniel Hackett. I'm going to put it on Hackett's back. I'm going to say that he was not the right guy for the job. He was not prepared for a head coaching job. He did not need to be at the head of that ship, and rightly so, he was let go. That's not to say that he can't be a good and effective coordinator, but as a head coach, he just was not ready for that opportunity. And I think that was a result. That is some of what caused the Broncos to be as bad as they were last year. I think that they're going to bounce back with experience and not only an experienced head coach, but a winning head coach at the helm in Denver. And I think that they're going to cause problems. I think that they will be a problem for a lot of teams, namely a team like Las Vegas, who tends to have dysfunction running throughout that organization. And
Especially with the Chandler Jones stuff.
yeah,
Jesus.
it's golly. So I expect Denver to win this game at home. PS2, the trash talk already started. They talking about Devontae Adams. He said who? Like I want to see this. I love this, and I think a new era in Denver. They're going to start off on the right foot. Always a hard place to go play, especially with that altitude. So yeah.
The backup quarterback for the Raiders, O'Connell. How long until he make an appearance as a starting quarterback?
I don't know. I don't know that he will. I have faith in Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is a formidable everyday kind of starter in the NFL. Not necessarily a star in the NFL as a starting quarterback, but I think he's one of those guys that he could be that middle of the road, just kind of not do anything to hurt the team. But he's not, as we've seen. I mean, he's
He
led
ain't gonna win you the game. He ain't gonna lose you the
yeah,
game.
he's not gonna necessarily lose you the game. He's not gonna win you the game. He's just a guy that's in there. He just does what he's supposed to do. And I feel like there too often we overlook the guys that do what they're supposed to do because we want that electric Patrick Mahomes. We want that, we want the guy that's gonna the Josh Allen who's gonna just
Jump
blow
over
you away
people.
with his arms and jump over people and stuff, or the Joe Burrows who got the swag and they're gonna make the play and they're gonna let you
We
know
talking
about it and
about
have the chain.
it's
Like,
porn star Jimmy, baby. What are you
oh my
talking
God.
about?
Yeah, that's the
He's in Vegas,
only
baby.
reason
He
why we
bringing
be
all
talking about
he
him.
bringing all the
Too bad,
stars, and I ain't talking
too
about
bad we're not
celebrity. I'm
talking
talking
about his
about
play on the field when we be talking about porn star Jimmy.
hey, that's on him. He the one that want to date those certain types of groups of folks. So hey, he gonna get that nickname. I'm just putting it how it is out there. So Jimmy, he ain't gotta worry about nothing. He apparently he performs well all on and off the field. So we'll see how that plays out for the Raiders. But I don't see it, bro. I don't see it with the Raiders. I expect them to maybe win 6 games
How long until Josh McDaniels on the hot seat?
today.
Mm, okay,
Today,
fair enough.
Josh McDaniels does not deserve the head coaching job. Point blank. Period. But talk about that another time. All right, let's go ahead and move on to a real game over on the West Coast side. And like I said earlier, you have an East Coast team going over to the West Coast, and that's Miami Dolphins. Um, Now or never for the Chargers. We talked about that in the off season. We talked about it last week's show. When it comes to, I'm picking them to win the division because again, it's not now then when. It's the Chargers division to lose. The Chargers. I'm sorry. It's the Chiefs division to lose. The Chiefs did not lose the division on Thursday. Obviously, the division is not determined by 1 week, but
Apparently they
it's
did.
the Chargers for them to take this division and claim their state that they have arrived. If they can't do it this year, then there's going to be some changes obviously made, most likely in the coaching department. But for the Dolphins coming into this game, I do think they can win this game. I'm not saying that they can't win this game. I just because it's week one, because we East Coast to West Coast, that's the factors that I put on this. Um, but overall, the offense is not the concern. It's really how is their defense going to play. You know, they're missing some pieces on last from last year. Um, will they be as good this year as they were about 2 years ago? I feel like 2 years ago that was a top five, top 10 defense that allowed them to compete with everybody else in the NFL. Will they be able to get back to that ish?
I expect the Dolphins to go in LA and win this game, and the reason why I say that is I think head coaching has a lot to do with whether or not your team is able to pull off some of these victories. Unfortunately for the Chargers, like you said, it's now or never. I don't have faith in Brandon Staley. I think this is the beginning of the end for Brandon Staley in LA. I just don't think that he's the guy for this job, and I say that with all due respect. But after year of us saying and claiming this is their year, this is their time, they're ready to compete, and then them just disappointingly flopping, I just cannot. Like you said, it's week one. Anything can happen. There are a lot of question marks out there for a lot of teams, and you really don't know who's going to show up. I was saying, Kansas City gonna win week one. They're gonna beat the Lions. We don't know about the Lions. They haven't shown it, and they came out and they showed like, hey, this is a different time for the Lions. We're a different Detroit team, right? They made that statement, which I think they needed to make, and I think for LA, we need to see something because every year we're saying it's their year. I picked LA to win the division last year. I thought that the Chargers were going to compete. I thought they had everything to make up to do it, and then what happened?
Fell flat.
So don't get me wrong, they could win this game, but I think this for me, this game represents in the larger picture of things, can they consistently compete with the playoff teams or the teams that are in the hunt for the playoffs in the AFC week in and week out? I just don't think so under Brandon Staley.
Yeah, we're really gonna find out, of course, very very soon. Greg on YouTube, he says I have the Chargers as a Super Bowl prediction out of AFC. Would y'all say that's their peak? I mean, yeah. I have them actually um, in the AFC Championship game, losing to the Jets actually. So I mean, we're kind of on the same page when it comes to where we could see them go. I mean, it could be the Chargers or this team, the other team that they're playing, the Dolphins. The Dolphins could be in the AFC Championship game. They could be in the Super Bowl. That's just how talented this damn conference is in the AFC to where it's really going. I mean, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. It's really going to come down to nutrition. It's going to come down to who's going to be healthier towards the end of the season, who's going to continue to have there's not just their star, but also the depth within certain positions to be able to play later on in the season. And like it said, if not now, as we saw last year, hopefully now, then win. I mean, I don't I don't know, man. This Chargers team is a very interesting. Makes me want to scratch my head. type of franchise. And unfortunately, with their history dating back to, of course, the San Diego days, they don't have the best of history for me to go off of and say, hey, let's hang our hat on this. We believe in the. No, I don't. I don't have that. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to I used to be Super Bowl matchup, the Eagles versus the Patriots, and this will be in Foxborough. Um, if this was any other Patriots team, of course, led by Tom Brady, this might be a different pick, but it's not like that anymore. And this could be the beginning of the end of the Bill Belichick era in New England. Um, Of course, I know the best news that came out of New England for Ishmael is, of course, Mr. Bailey Zappi is back on the active roster for the Patriots
And he's going to play today.
after some weird stuff that was going on with Matt Corral out in New England. Apparently, he didn't show up the first couple of days.
Pray for him.
Might be
Hopefully he's
some depression type of
great.
stuff. They decided to let him go and then bring in Zappi under the active roster. Um, other than that, the Patriots just don't have enough. This Eagles team is loaded on both sides of the ball. The only reason why the Eagles lose this game is literally because the Eagles lose this game on their own. They turn the ball over. They don't catch the ball. They don't run the ball. I mean, it's the the Patriots can play their best defensive scheme this game, and they're still going to lose. I'm just being honest. Like, it's no reason why the Patriots will win this game. Ish, I'm not going to spend too much time on this.
Yeah, no, there's not much time to be spent on this because I don't. And the Eagles, if they lose, they beat themselves. That's all it is. The Patriots are not going to go out there. I'm not expecting Mac Jones to go out there, light the world up, have some great performance. No, I think if your offense is crappy, put in Zappy. And I think that at some point today, Zappy probably going to have to get in there. Okay. Bill Belichick, this is the beginning of the end. His first mistake was getting rid of Zappy to begin with, and now you had to bring Zappy back. And yeah, we're gonna see you gonna come back to regret ever trying to get rid of Zappy over there in New England. Bill Belichick, that's gonna be what puts the nail in the coffin for
There
you.
you go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the positioning moves that they. I know New England likes to be 3 steps ahead of everybody from time to time, but one thing I will say before we move on, if you actually go back and look up the last 10 first round draft picks that the Patriots have made, 9 out of the 10 have not gone on to receive a second contract. That's that's not just saying something. I mean, again, if you actually go look at the names like I have, and I don't have the graphic in front of me right now, um, you're going to have to put some blame, not just, of course, on the management group that's in New England that's making those picks, but you also have to put the blame on Bill Belichick because I'm pretty sure Bill Belichick is in that war room saying, "Hey, I need this guy. Hey, I want this guy." And it is not a pretty lineup. If I can get it, I'll definitely showcase it on the social media pages to let y'all see, but it is not pretty. Greg says, how y'all think Zeke is going to fit in this offense? Zeke going to be a guy. Zeke going to be a guy.
When you go to New England, you become just another guy.
Like, we're not even going to act like Zeke ain't running for 1,000 yards. Zeke ain't doing nothing that's going to be the most newsworthy thing that Zeke going to do in England is wear a flip pendant that showcases 15 and 21.
I mean, realistically, they just never use. It's been a long time since they had like a clear out and out number one starting running back. They have become one of those teams that really embrace running back by committee. They never really use that one guy and make that one guy the star. The stars just aren't Bill Belichick's way. And yeah, I just don't see Zeke having some breakout fantastic season. He's just another guy on that team.
Stevenson is out for today's game. Obviously that means Zeke should get a couple more carries. But again, what is anybody expecting from Zeke?
I mean, he might have one big week. He'll have a big week here and there. But I don't think it's consistently he gonna have like they're not wrong.
He could have a 150-yard game, not just today, but any one of these next couple of weeks. So he could. Yes, you're right, but it's not gonna be consistent.
No,
we're gonna see the feed me. We're gonna see all that again. No. All right, Packers Bears. Of course, the oldest rivalry in the NFL starts off on week 1. Ish and I have some split decisions on this one. Ish, I'll let you start on this first.
Yeah, I just think beginning of the era for Green Bay. Some would say Chicago's daddy is gone now. He's off to bigger and better things in the bright lights in New York. And so with your daddy gone, I would expect for you to at home win this game. You cannot allow your daddy to leave and then you go out there and lose to Jordan Love
Not
in the
Pappy.
first game
Not
with
Pappy.
Aaron Rodgers gone. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Aaron Rodgers said it himself. Okay, we know what their relationship was or what the series was with Green Bay and Chicago when Aaron Rodgers was there. This is your first opportunity under the new era in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is gone. You have got to win this game, especially at home. All the hype, all the, everything that was going on with Chicago, how they made brilliant moves in the draft and were able to move back and they picked up DJ Moore and they did this, they did that. Like, okay, let's see it. Like all the talk is done. Let's see it. This for me is a statement game of like I know there are a lot of statement games this week, but this for me, this is a statement game because if you lose at home week 1 to Green Bay, there psychologically is something wrong with the Chicago Bears, and I don't know if they get over that hump.
It's interesting you say that. Looks like Greg might be on the same page with you when it comes to. He said he just don't believe in Justin Fields whatsoever. I don't. I'm not even a big Ohio State or Justin Fields fan, but I have to root for him because I think he's better than what people think that he
I
is.
think
I don't
he is.
understand why people don't think that he's good. And and people are quick to say, oh, he has a 5-20 record, right? You know, he has the record, just the passes. I've seen plenty, of course, clips of him throwing ugly passes. I got it. I got it. I'm not going to defend any of that. But like Ish said, all the changes the uh, Bears were able to make in the offseason with their new general manager, I think it helps tremendously for Justin Fields to be a better quarterback this upcoming season. I'm hoping he doesn't run as much. Um, with that being said, yes, I would have picked the Bears because I do like the Bears and I do like Justin Fields, but I like the Packers just a little bit more. And what I mean by that is the same type of talk and chatter that's going on with Justin Fields, I think is the same type of talk and chatter that's going on with Jordan Love when it comes to can he be the next guy, right? Can he step up? Can he do this? Can he do that? I don't think he's Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's actually pretty decent. When I watched him in the preseason again, preseason, I just like how he's comfortable. It looks like he's comfortable in the pocket. It looks like he's not frazzled like I've seen a guy like a Malik Willis who, for whatever reason, everybody want to continue to keep throwing out there like he's just the savior for the Titans because he's not. Or even a guy like a Baker Mayfield, you know, that gets a little feet choppy in the pocket and want to run. I actually have Jordan Love as one of my season picks for under over interceptions. They have him at 12 and a half. I have him going under. I don't think he throws 12 interceptions. I think the Packers as a offensive group will allow him to be successful and not force him to be the savior for this team. So with that being said, I think the Packers come in here still a game that they're not
Mm,
supposed to. Again, a
mm,
divisional matchup. We got to remember, everybody, divisional matchups are weird and funky from time to time. And
mhm.
I think that the Packers go in there and even with Aaron Rodgers, show that maybe we still are your daddy.
Whew,
Maybe just
man.
maybe. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Rams and Seahawks. 2 years ago, this might have been a matchup for the Rams to steamroll over to the Seahawks, but now this is a different Seahawks team and a different Rams team. Um, the Rams are still, I guess, trying to figure out this most likely probably gonna be the last year of Matt Stafford, right? I mean, Matt Stafford, I don't think he's going to play another year with the Rams. You
I
got
think we
Cooper
see
Cup.
Stetson Bennett sometime this year.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm thinking maybe Stetson Bennett might be the guy for them. I feel like he played okay in the preseason. Nothing too great, nothing bad that would lose him an opportunity to step in there and fulfill the role. But because he is older, because he was been able to play in high pressure situations in
Mhm,
college as well
mhm.
too. I think he's a very damn good backup quarterback to be able to allow him to transition to be the starter either in the middle of the season or by next season. So watch out for Stetson Bennett with the Rams. Overall, though, for the Seahawks, I think they're just an overall better team. I'm excited to see this offense. I know we don't say that a lot with the Seahawks, but you got, of course, Jackson Smith and McGibba from Ohio State. Of course, the tree. Now you have a trio of wide receivers at your disposal for Gino. And then, of course, the defensive side of the ball trying to rebuild LOB 2.0. I think the Seahawks, I'm going to say it right now, Ish. I think the Seahawks beat the Rams by like 2 touchdowns. I think it's a thrashing.
Ooh.
I don't think it's close.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go that far
I
and say
will.
by 2 touchdowns.
I will.
Golly, but what I will say is, yeah, it's different times. It's different times in that division. The Seahawks are up, and the Cardinals and the Rams are down. So we'll just have to see how they're able to cope throughout the season. No Cooper Cup as well, so that just makes it even worse for the Rams when you're talking about like what weapons they're going to be using. Cam Akers we're gonna have a heavy dose of Cam Akers today. I just think, yeah, they don't have enough. They're still figuring it out. They've got a lot to do. They're rebuilding, obviously, and yeah, Seattle should win this game. Stetson Bennett at some point, maybe not today, but at some point in the season, it's got to go to him.
All right, let's finish it off. Sunday night football game with the America's team, the Cowboys versus the other America's team, I guess, the Giants. Another split decision here. Ish, I'll let you start off with this one.
Danny Dimes, baby. Danny Dimes. I think that the Cowboys going to go out on America's team, America's game, and they're going to lose. Danny Dimes, baby. I think that Brian Dable's going to come out and they're going to solidify everything that they started last year. They're going to show that they are a real contender in the NFC. They are building a real team there. They've got more weapons. They're solidifying the line. They defensively last year really made a statement, and I expect them to continue to make statements. I think that Dallas is still going to be competitive. They are going to miss Tony Pollard. But I think that for Dallas, they're just putting a little bit, they've got a little bit more soul searching to do. I don't expect to see early surge from Dallas, but I think maybe in the second half of the season, if they can figure some things out, definitely we could see a surge. I just don't know. I don't believe it's going to happen at any point this season. I think they're just going to have a low season, and we're going to start to see the transition from Dak Prescott to whoever they're going to deem as the new era. And I think it will be a new era in Dallas starting next year. So we'll just ride out the end of this one.
As you see, Dallas coming into New York, aka New Jersey, of course, where they play at, is a 3-point. I mean, I'm not the one that built the stadium over there, but Dallas is a 3-point favorite, which is, of course, a little interesting because you would think the Giants would be either favored or just be an even money line game. But the main reason why I think Vegas is also favoring the Cowboys and also Dak Prescott is because of Dak Prescott's record against the NFC East as a whole. For me, honest with you, that's another main reason why I took the Cowboys to win this game and also to spoil the Giants' home debut in Week 1. But overall, the Giants might get deeper into the playoffs than the Cowboys will. You know, this Week 1 game won't define both of these teams' season. I think the Cowboys will do what they expect, what they do every year, which is get everybody's expectations all high to let everybody down. You know, so I think that this Week 1 will be a part of that, and we'll see how the Cowboys look by Week 8. But other than that, I mean, really, it's not too much. It's another one of those Sunday night football games where we'll hype up and we'll talk about, and then 8 weeks later, the Cowboys will be 3-5, and we'll be trying to figure out what's going on with them. We won't give our picks for the Jets and Bills game. We'll save that for Monday. We'll send you guys our graphic on social media to show on that one. But Bills and Jets do play, of course, on ESPN on Monday Night Football. Again, we'll talk about that on the Tuesday recap show. And, of course, for everybody's favorite, before we get out of here, if I was a betting man, I would be losing a lot of money, which I unfortunately do from time to time on this. But this week, just like Ish said, it's a new era. Okay,
Oh
it's a new
goodness.
era of Prize Picks, and we are going to get it done this week. And if
No
we
man.
don't, we're
Mhm.
throwing the apple away. You heard me, Prize Picks. We are done. So, with that being said, I want to show y'all my lineup card for today.
Mhm.
And I have a four parlay of players. And if you are on Prize Picks, you'll see that they are doing a special for Dak Prescott to where all he needs to do is throw for 1 yard.
Wait, what?
Yep,
Yo,
one
nah,
yard,
that's
1 yard only.
that's bad,
If
man.
Dak don't throw for 1 yard, Dak gonna have to come see me.
Mm.
You also have Bijan Robinson um, more than just half of a touchdown, either passing, rushing, or receiving.
So he just
Hopefully,
got scored.
he's got to score. He's got to score one time, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, nah, this is crazy.
Hey, it's week one, baby. It's week one. If we can't hit this week one, we're done. We're done.
Yeah.
Justin Tucker again playing against the Texans. If if
Mhm.
if the if the Ravens ain't scoring touchdowns, they at least gonna get a field goal range. I just need two. I just need two. The best kicker in the world. They
That's
always say
probably the hardest one
that
for
is the
you
hardest
today.
one.
That's the
That is
hardest
the
one
hardest one.
today.
And then you have, like I said earlier, about Tank Dell. I think this might be
15
not a
yards
not a
is it?
coming out party, but 15 yards. You tell me Tank Dell can't get 15 yards. If Tank Dell can't get 15 yards this one game, then again, like I said, I'm gonna have to throw this damn apple away,
Nah, Prize Picks they trying to set you up. They
bruh,
must know something that you don't know. They
bruh.
got Dak just got throw for what?
No. That's a promo that they do. I ain't worried about that. I'm talking
Okay.
about Tank Dell. They know something about Tank Dell that he ain't gonna get more than 14 yards. We got a problem.
Mm.
So that is what it is for today. Prospect promo code, of course, PR-JBA61PN if you want to join in on the fun. Other than that, we will, of course, recap all of this on Tuesday. Most likely, I will be shaking my head from
I
maybe some
can't
of
wait
these
to
picks.
recap these Prize Picks.
Yeah, let's not do
Man.
that. Let's not do
Oh
that.
man, I
I'm
can't
already
wait.
still I'm already still hurting from yesterday. I'm trying to get over that. All right. So with that being said, we will see you guys Tuesday night to recap all of these games and hope everybody enjoy their first week of NFL, well, real football, if NFL's football slate this weekend. Again, oh, like I said, we'll join y'all Tuesday, but next week, remember, we have a double header on Monday Night Football. So they moved that from week one to week two. So next week, you'll have two games on Monday night. So
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that. And we will see y'all on Tuesday. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your day ish. Hope you enjoy some football.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.